What's up, everybody? This worked. Well, here it is. I hadn't broadcast it because I didn't know it was going to work. I just tried it out, and I guess it kind of works. But I'm live here on YouTube. You guys who all subscribe to me have asked me for a very long time to go live. And, well, you're welcome. I'm Albert Albanese, and this is the Slam Sessions live on YouTube. Wow. I'm going to completely be honest here, guys. I don't have a lot to talk about right now because I just did a live stream over on Facebook. And, hey, True Sinister Degenerate, what's up, guys? So it's good to see you guys here. So I did a live stream over on YouTube just a couple of minutes ago. And I mentioned at the end of it being that I got the engagement of, throughout the entire time I was live, I had the engagement of just about as many people are in this chat right now. Oh, man, look at that. It's Big Blue Attack. Big Show's little brother. I mean, I'm a lot littler, so. But, yeah, I went live, and I did this whole big thing, and I got out all my emotions and craziness about it because, you know, I was all upset about a whole bunch of different things. And I said, you know what? Somebody on Dave's live stream recently told me, hey, you know, they changed the way you can go live on YouTube. And I went, oh, I should check that out. So I decided, hey, you know what? Let me check it out. And boom, here we are. I'm live. So what's going on, guys? It's good to see all of you guys. You know, I think somebody needs to figure out a way to go tell AJ Envoy to come in, because I feel like that if I did this without him, he might be really upset with me. But yeah, so look, we're all here, you know, we're all hanging out. I'll hang out for probably like a half hour. Then I got to, you know, work out and take a shower. So let's talk wrestling, guys. What's on your mind? Anything at all you want to talk to me about, throw it out there, and I'm here to talk about it. The things I was most heated about over the past couple of, actually over just for today, what I covered on my Facebook live stream was about the fact that I was told by a member of the internet wrestling community that ratings don't dictate the how good of content there is on a show. And I would really just like to know, what other ways are there to tell how good or bad a show is other than ratings? Because everything else is just opinion based. Now, you know, as of right now, there are 3 people in this live stream, and and then me. So all 4 of us, as of right now, could have a differencing of opinion on what we feel is the best professional wrestling program out there right now. Now, if it's up to me, and you said, hey, what do you enjoy the most? I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell you guys every week on Dave's live stream. NXT is my favorite. I enjoy NXT more than I enjoy Raw and SmackDown and AEW and, you know, Impact. And if New Japan was on TV, you know, I like New Japan, but NXT was my ish. And there it is, AJ Envoy. I just literally said before this, somebody needs to tell you about this, because if I did this without you, you were going to get upset. And yes, I'm here. And I figured out how to do this so I can do this more often. So if we can get more people to come in here and join us to do this, it'll be great. Well, you know, I'll try to do a weekly live stream like Dave does, only it'll just be all Albert and no Dave, which is the best way to do a YouTube live stream. But yeah, Big Blue Attack, sponsors and TV companies do care about ratings. And as fans, we should also care about ratings as well, because if we're watching a TV show and it's not doing well, the chances are that the majority of TV shows that, you know, go under a certain threshold will get canceled. So will we ever see the time or place where NXT or AEW could get canceled? I don't think so. I think the ratings are good enough for both of those shows that'll keep them around. But Degenerate, if you want to, we'll get there eventually. The more you talk about it, the more I'll have to chime in. But you know, the ratings are the barometer, the only barometer of how good the content is on a television show. You know, I could be, you know, and here's a great example of ratings being a barometer on what's more successful and what's not. As of right now, I am on YouTube live for 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and I already have more viewers here than I had on Facebook when I went live for a half an hour, just, you know, at at 7:30. So I mean that was an hour ago. I went live for about 40 minutes, and I had in totality, I believe, about 5 different people in here. Here I am in the first 5 minutes being on YouTube. I have 5 people in here already. My YouTube channel, my YouTube live stream, is more successful than my Facebook live stream because 5 people are watching as of right now. And if you're the only 5, you've tied what I did in a half hour in 5 minutes. That's the way ratings work. Because I could have my YouTube live stream could be crap, and there we go. We're 6. We're at 6. I've beaten my Facebook stream. Inigo Montoya, what's up, buddy? How are you? But yeah, that's the barometer. There's no other way to say it. So you can't tell me that NXT or AEW are better than Raw or SmackDown because Raw and SmackDown's ratings are better than NXT and AEW's. Are the content of their shows better? Possibly. Possibly. In my opinion, yes. In everybody's opinion in this chat, yes. But 1.5 million people don't believe that. And to answer, the degenerate, to answer your question, yeah, they're NXT. Actually, AJ, NXT's been higher over the past 3 weeks than AEW has. So NXT is averaging about I say over I think it's somewhere in 770,000, and AEW's doing it around 700,000. Harry Flynn, a very secondary happy birthday to you. If you didn't get, you will get your video this week, but you also get a live stream. So this is like a triple happy birthday for you from me. So you're welcome. And yes, AJ, I mentioned that earlier in my other on the other stream, which I'm going to stop referring to because nobody watched it. I don't know why I keep going on about it, but yeah. Tony Khan, and it's not just Tony Khan, and you guys know my favorite wrestler of all time is Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho is consistently touting the demographic number. I don't care about demographics. When I look at ratings, I look at the overall rating. I don't care if 18, and I know sponsors might care more about that. I personally don't. The 18 to 35 demographic might be what they're aiming for, and that'd be great if that's what they're getting. And I'm happy for them that they're happy with those numbers. But if I'm AEW, I'm not happy with NXT beating me at any point because AEW owned NXT this entire time. Degenerate, I don't know what you were trying to post, but I'll show it, but I don't think it's gonna, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but yeah. But yeah, that's just look, that's the way it is, talking about demographics is literally moving the goalposts. Right. That's a man, Inigo Montoya. I couldn't have put it any better myself. That's 100% right. That's exactly what you're doing. You're just moving the goalposts. That's it. Look, you lost. That's it. That's the end of the day. No one cares about, if, all right. So for instance, we'll put this in football terms. If I throw for 7 touchdowns in a game, everybody's going to be like, man, Albert had a great game. Did Albert's team win? No. Oh, well, at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to matter is if my team won. My individual stats might be monsters. But if, AJ Envoy rushed for, 3 touchdowns on the other side and Inigo Montoya threw for 4, it doesn't matter that I threw for 7. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. The winners and losers are dictated by ratings. And if the ratings for Monday Night Raw continue to be higher than NXT and AEW, that means that their content, their quality of content is better than AEW and NXT. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Now that I'm looking at it, there you go. So you can see that, there's the consistency of AEW and NXT. They're consistently drawing a very similar number. But Raw is consistently drawing 1.5 million. And even with their ratings falling, which they have been this past week's Raw, the Monday Night Raw that we all watched together when we were in the chat last night with Dave, is the lowest rated Monday Night Raw in history of, I believe, in the history of WWE. And it's still doing better numbers than the other show, which everybody says has better content. And yes, Degenerate, that's exactly what I wanted to say. And I know you guys know this because I said this in the stream last night. Wrestling is a niche audience. SmackDown drew 2 million last Friday. And that's what I'm saying, And look, if And like somebody tried to come at me and tell me that he was dealing in facts, and his facts on Facebook, he started with, "I'm not telling you anything else but facts," and then said, "You know that if NXT and AEW were on separate nights, they would beat Raw in the ratings." That's not a fact. That's not you dealing in facts. That is a hypothetical situation. I don't deal in hypotheticals. You know who else doesn't deal in hypotheticals? Who never dealt in hypotheticals? Wrestling fans. If you guys were old enough to remember the Attitude Era, you guys are old enough to remember the Monday Night War, wrestling fans dealt in absolutes. Who won the ratings war that night? It wasn't about demographics. It wasn't about anything else. It was, and AJ, that's exactly right. It doesn't make a difference. And that's why I say content and quality of content doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care if NXT was the better show because Raw and SmackDown are every single week outdrawing NXT. That means it's not the better show. Because if NXT and AEW were the better shows, they'd outdraw Raw and SmackDown, but they're not. But that means that their content is better. That means that there are 1.5 million people that want to watch that show, 2 million that want to watch those shows, and only 700,000 of them want to watch the other ones. That means the content isn't better. And Degenerate, Wednesday night is a good time for professional wrestling. AEW, look, and I get it. And my friend Craig likes to, explain this to me all the time, that the reason why AEW couldn't go on Tuesday was because of the NBA. And the NBA, they play a lot of NBA games on Tuesdays, and that would preempt NXT. And I understand that that's the case. But if you're going to sign them and you're going to register Dynamite, and it rings so well with Tuesday Night Dynamite, and then you move to Wednesdays, you're now directly competing with NXT. And NXT, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's like, oh, well, WWE counter-programmed AEW. No, they didn't. WWE has had NXT on Wednesdays forever. When they decided to move to USA, they didn't counter-program AEW. They put their show out in the same time slot that everybody's used to watching it. IR Monkey, how are you, buddy? Yeah, and exactly. And that's my thing. Raw and SmackDown, everybody can sit there and say their content isn't as good. And everybody can say Raw and SmackDown sucks. And everybody can sit there and say that Raw and SmackDown is at the worst it's ever been. But they're still doing better than AEW and NXT. That means that their content is more in demand than NXT and AEW's content. And I don't care what you tell me. You can tell me over and over and over and over and over again that AEW put on the best show on Wednesday night. But the viewers told me that NXT was better. And here's the thing. For NXT to lose to AEW, that is way worse for AEW. Because I know that if I was caught up, and admittedly, I am months behind on NXT. I am, and I said this earlier, I am in the middle of watching NXT TakeOver Portland right now. That's how far behind I am. Oh, wait. Alexa Bliss is on Cameo. Harry, how much is it? And does anybody know when Dave's birthday is? Because I'm going to do it. AJ Envoy, I don't know what Impact's numbers are, but I know that they're probably nowhere near NXT or AEW's. But NXT, AEW, it's inexcusable for them to lose to NXT because if you're a WWE fan and you've been watching NXT and you're not watching, like I said, I'm so far behind on NXT. So I don't watch NXT live. What I do watch live, if I am watching live on Wednesday, is I watch AEW because I am very much conditioned as a WWE Network subscriber to watch NXT on the network at my leisure. I don't have to watch it live. Now, Raw and SmackDown, because I've watched Raw and SmackDown on television, on USA and that weird time where they were on Spike TV, I watch them every Monday night. It's never changed. They've always been there. Really? Oof. All right. Well, Dave's not getting that for his birthday then. And if you guys are on a live stream with him, you can tell him that I wanted to do it, but that's way too much. Damn. $399? Like Brian Myers is doing his for less than 100. Like, I thought it was gonna be like $50. I would have been like, cool. Even if it was 100, I would have asked if you guys wanted to go in and go in on it with me and split it. But for $399, I don't even want to split it with you guys. That's crazy. WWE didn't think AEW of AEW big enough a threat to move SmackDown or Raw to Wednesday. They moved their third brand to compete with them, and even now NXT is winning. And NXT is winning with a built-in audience used to watching them on the network, and they have another way to go watch it. I know that there's probably people who may watch AEW on the TNT app. Maybe. I don't know. I don't personally know anybody who actually does it. I'm sure there are. But I would think that, yeah, and Degenerate, I wonder too. I wonder if they're okay with the fact that AEW is drawing these ratings because they're the first year in, and there's going to be growing pains, and that's it. Roman is charging $500 on Cameo. That's crazy. I would never pay that much for that. It would be like WWF back in 1988 competing with WCW with their show Sunday Night Heat. Exactly. Wow. Inigo Montoya. That's actually depressing. They only draw 640,000 viewers. Oof. That's hard. That's hard. I feel bad for Impact because I know that they're probably putting on good shows. I just don't care enough to watch. And there's way too much wrestling for me to watch. Like I said, I'm behind on NXT, which is my favorite show. I'm in the middle of NXT Portland. I'm like 4 months behind on NXT, and I love NXT. So, ratings are the barometer of how we get everything. How did WWE win the Monday Night War? They didn't win by WCW theoretically getting bought out and being taken off television. They won the ratings war. And no one cared about demographics. And everybody said that the best content on the show won. The best show won. Monday Night Raw won. That's how we dictate who wins and loses. You can't tell me that AEW and NXT put on a better show than Raw or SmackDown when the numbers prove that that's not the case. And that's what it boils down to. It all boils down to numbers. As of right now, you can have the choice to watch anything you want. Now, maybe maybe Raw's ratings, are getting a little bit of a boost by me and Dave watching Raw every week now because we have the capability to do so because we're doing these shows from the comfort of our own homes instead of doing them at the former studio that, it no longer exists for us to do the shows at. So, it may be a long time before Dave and I are in the same room ever doing a live stream, again. It could be a very long time. But I do know that I'm watching Raw live every week now because I'm doing the show with Dave, the ratings are still going down. So obviously it's not having that big of an impact. But maybe, there are more people doing watch parties for these things. Maybe if there were people that were doing watch parties, like popular YouTube acts were doing watch parties for AEW every Wednesday, maybe it would get more people to watch. I don't know what it is. But what I really think the problem right now is that the niche audience, the internet wrestling community audience, the marks, the smart marks, the ones that I refer to as the internet wrestling community, and everybody tells me, well, Albert, you're in the internet wrestling community too because you are on the internet and you talk about wrestling. No, there's a difference. There's a difference between the IWC and regular wrestling fans who talk about wrestling on the internet. I don't crap on everything WWE, and I don't think that AEW is the best, and I don't think everything that the WWE does is wrong, and everything that AEW does is great. Those are the internet marks. Those are the IWC. Those are the people who I can't stand. But those people that can sit there and talk about this kind of stuff consistently and say that AEW is putting on a better show, they're obviously in a vocal minority because there's only 770,000 of them watching that show, while there's over 1 million every single week watching Raw. You know what? Also concerning, more people have been home this year than probably before WrestleMania. Wrestling went mainstream. We're all on lockdown. Look how things have suffered. Every YouTube wrestling channel I know live stream NXT and not AEW. So that's the thing. Maybe that they should start doing something where they have one of their guys go live on the AEW YouTube channel and do a watch along. And could you say are a certain type of internet smart fans? Yeah, I think that there is. That's what it boils down to. There are a certain, there's a groundswell. There are the smart marks, the internet wrestling community, as I refer to them more than anything else, the IWC. Those are people who are combative, who don't want to, yield on any of their positions and you can't get into a conversation with them. Now, there are times where we can get combative here, but it's always professional. Even on Dave's channel, we keep it, we don't take things personally, and stuff like that. People turn personal and stuff like this. They get so heated about something that they don't have any bearing on. And yeah, AJ Envoy, to get back to your comment, you're right. There are a lot of, people that are home right now, but I think that the WWE and AEW, they're suffering because there are no crowds, and they're only able to have a certain number of people in the building at the same time. There's a lot of different things that are going on, within the wrestling industry as of right now that are making people, become divisive, and there's no reason to be divisive. You can like both. It's okay to like both. But AEW needs to figure out a way to corner the market. I think you and Dave talked about it last night. AEW doesn't do stories well. I want to watch. There's a great potential, but they can't tell a story. There's no growth. And I agree. I think that what's their biggest story right now? Is there a big storyline? Because I don't know what it is. Is it Colt Cabana and the kind of half in and kind of not in the Dark Order? Is that their biggest storyline right now? Because I know that and I get it. Mox hasn't been there to really build it, but I know that Mox and Brian Cage are going to go one-on-one for the world title. And AJ Envoy, I completely agree. I'm looking forward to that too. But they're not giving me anything else to care about. There's no other stories. Hangman Page and Omega are just getting along now. They were battling each other as champions. That stopped. That went away. The Young Bucks and FTR. There's supposedly a storyline there, but what is it? We're friends, but we're kind of not friends. We're on the same side, even though that F the Revival was what they were saying over and over again for years. Cody's doing and that's the other thing. We want to talk about ripping off of gimmicks. Yes, I know the television championship back in WCW. They used to, you have to defend it, every television, but they stopped doing that. But John Cena was doing the U.S. Open Challenge. Now Cody's doing the TNT Open Challenge. Come on. That's his gimmick right now. That's the story. There's no stories in AEW. At least you can sit there and look at WWE and know that there's a storyline going on between Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. At least you can look at WWE and know there's a storyline going on between Matt Riddle and AJ Styles. You can look at WWE and see the storylines between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, Andrade and Angel Garza and the Viking Raiders. There are stories. Randy Orton and Randy Orton and Edge. And now that that Edge role is being slipped out, and R-Truth is being put in there, and Big Show's being put in there. MVP, and his guys, consistently, going up against Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. There are stories there. That's why I hate when everybody keeps saying things like, "Oh, WWE doesn't have any stories." Yes, they do. They're telling better stories than AEW. AEW isn't telling any stories. And yeah, I agree, IR Monkey. I liked when Mox showed up. I was really happy, and Mox won the world title. And then what happened? What happened? Oh, Harry, MJF makes sense in character for him to charge $500 on Cameo. Bitter Samurai Productions. Man, what is going on, dude? Welcome. But, here's the thing. I don't think that Raw being 2 hours is an issue. I think that Raw could be great at 3 hours. And look, Degenerate, I get it. A lot of people keep saying 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. WWE were putting on pay-per-views during the Attitude Era. Yes, Sasha and Bayley. But and Iron Monkey, maybe that's the case. They do have stories. Maybe they're not good. But are they? Are they not good? Are there any points where you're sitting there and going, "Oh, not this again"? I don't think so. I think the WWE is actually telling good stories. I think the narrative for so long is that the WWE isn't telling any stories, that's what everybody uses as the narrative, as they're not, as the reason why they're not watching the program anymore. But they are consistently telling stories. The WWE never stopped having storylines or telling stories. They always have it. And yeah, I get it, AJ. I know that a lot of people, have smaller attention spans, and a lot of people want Raw to go back to 2 hours. They're never going back to 2 hours. There's too much money for them on the table for them to go back to 2 hours. It doesn't make any sense for them to go back to 2 hours. I don't mind Raw being 3 hours. If they're 3 entertaining hours, they'll fly by. If they're 3 unentertaining hours, they're going to take a long time. And to be completely honest, last night's show was pretty good. Bianca came back. Shayna came back. They advanced a lot of storylines with that, with everybody around. Seth Rollins got his comeuppance. There was a lot of things that went on last night that were actually good. But the fact of the matter is that WWE will never get the credit that their storylines are good anymore, because the narrative is always that WWE storylines are not good. I don't think the WWE is doing a bad job at all. I think they're actually doing a great job. I think the WWE is doing better than they have maybe for the past 3 or 4 years. I don't think they're getting any credit for it. AEW is not telling stories. So if you're going to sit here and tell me, yeah, Inigo, I agree. Nitro was 3 hours long, and we sat through Nitro every week for 3 hours. Yeah, and we'll see what the ratings are in 2021 and when crowds come back. But my thing is that can we all, look, can we all agree to one thing? That Raw is doing better storyline-wise than they have been in years? I don't get what the narrative is. Look at all the stories I named. That is almost everybody on the show having a place. They're not doing matches for just having the sake of matches anymore, and that used to be the thing that they used to do. Tonight, we get Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Why? Because we get Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Don't you want to see that? I mean, sure, but could you give me a little bit of something more to give me a little bit more interest in it? Sure, I love seeing two athletes compete, but give me a reason as to why. This past Monday, how many matches were on there that didn't have some sort of a story behind it? I don't think there was one. I think every person had a storyline. That's been a big narrative that everybody wanted for, since the Attitude Era. We want people to have more stories. We want everybody on the show to have a story. Now, I admit they're working with a smaller amount of people to feature on the show every week because they don't want the COVID to be spreading. They don't want as many people in the arena. But every person that gets put on TV has some sort of a story. R-Truth has a storyline. Seth and Ray, and Inigo, you said it. Seth and Ray might be the best story right now. They might be. But that's not just Seth and Ray. Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo are mentioned, are in the middle of that. Kenny Martin, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, AJ Envoy, you can say that, the WWE does have all that, but AEW has just as many people on their employ that have that same amount, of knowledge. They have Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and Jake Roberts on their payroll. They have Jim Ross on their payroll. They have people there that have been there that know how to build a good wrestling show. The thing is that AEW is not telling stories. And the WWE, no matter how much everybody craps on them about not telling stories, is telling a story in almost every single segment. R-Truth has a consistent storyline all throughout the show. And he's got multiple storylines. He's in here with Orton. And then he's in here with Tozawa. There's always something going on. Ruby Riott has a storyline with the Iconics. Sasha and Bayley have a storyline with the Kabuki Warriors. Every single person on the show that gets featured has some sort of story. We're not just getting matches for matches' sake anymore. We need to take the blinders off and realize that's what WWE is doing. They're giving you what you want. Nobody's opening their eyes enough to see it. And to be completely honest, I have been a big proponent of saying that WWE isn't giving us stories. And now that I just thought about it, holy crap! The WWE is giving us nothing else but stories. And yes, Inigo Montoya, I completely agree. That, I'll criticize it all you want, that 8-man tag team match on Fyter Fest was a spot fest, and that's what AEW is concerned with. Those type of matches. Okay, I don't know. I think that a lot of them are really straightforward. I mean, if you need, I don't, Monkey, tell me where you're getting confused in them. I think that they're all pretty straightforward. I know that Dave last night was trying to, pull me off of the, try to make less sense of the Seth Rollins storyline as, than there really is. But it all made sense. Rollins lost at Mania. He was in a trance. He didn't want to be there. He didn't know where to go from there. And then Rey Mysterio wound up being the guy that at his feet he can sacrifice. And that his sacrifice made Seth Rollins feel whole again so he could bring the Messiah back to Raw. It's very easy to follow. I mean, where he's going is that he's the Monday Night Messiah. He's trying to give the WWE Universe what they've always wanted. 3 thumbs up too, guys. You guys are, thank you. I appreciate it, man. You guys are killing it today. I really appreciate this. Being my first live stream in forever. You guys are being great, and I really appreciate that. But I love Seth's story, and I love Seth's arc. I think that it's great, and I think a lot of people are comparing it to CM Punk. And I think that's an unfair comparison. I get it. Straight edge society, it might seem similar, but I think this is the best Seth has ever been. This is the most character he's ever had to portray, and I think he's doing great. And Katie, if you're getting sick of WWE, that's your prerogative. I'm not saying that because they're they're consistently telling stories that people are not allowed to like or dislike them. You're allowed to like and watch whatever you like. If you're a big fan of AEW and you're a big fan of these big spotty matches, that's great. That's your choice of wrestling. I have, more power to you. Please continue to watch AEW or New Japan or Impact or when they return, NWA Power or MLW. If those are the programs that you enjoy, by all means, I will never ever tell anybody not to watch what they like. And if your likes aren't in tune with mine, that's fine. We are all wrestling fans. We all have differences of opinions. And if you can't stomach to watch WWE, then that's totally fine. So Iron Monkey, okay, Street Profits and Viking Raiders. I mean, very simply, it was built upon a competitive rivalry. Anything you can do, I can do better. I think that was pretty straightforward. And we got vignettes. Everybody was talking about how WWE doesn't do vignettes anymore. And we got that. And people still complain about it. I don't know what else WWE can do to appease internet fans until, they've done everything. And my prime example of that, and I'll go back to this all the time, you guys are going to get sick of me hearing this, it's that the Zack Ryder, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan saga, everybody wanted those 3 guys as champions. They became champions. They opened Raw. It was the lowest rated opening in years. And then Zack Ryder got pushed off a stage in a wheelchair. That's it. The payoff was that the Street Profits beat them. They were better. That was the payoff. The Street Profits won the feud. And Ryan, I agree. Without a storyline, nothing means anything. And look, matches for matches' sake are fun. If you're going to announce, you have my attention announcing, dream matches. I'm sorry, I'm getting text out the butt. This is what I do. What happens when I don't tell people this is what I'm doing. Stories mean something. And look, I don't know how many of you guys are wrestling figure fans, but I listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. They're coming up with a Fantasy Figure Federation sister podcast. It's going to be Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, and they're booking their own pay-per-views. And now Brian Myers booked his for dream matches, his SummerSlam match. His main events were on paper so much better than Matt Cardona's matches. Matt Cardona's main event was Hogan versus Rock versus Cena, but Brian gave us Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles. Now on paper, you're going to want to, see, hey, those 2 wrestlers in a dream match, man, that's awesome. That is fan service out the butt. There was no story, though. And all Matt did was provide story. And for me, that was more entertaining. Spot fests are fun as matches, but if there's no story, I don't care as much about them. And Katie, I hope that Rusev is okay. I feel bad for Lana. Both of her parents have COVID. Now her husband. It's a very big shame. I hope that Rusev and Lana's family are okay. And yeah, Inigo Montoya, you're right. Austin could come back right now and stun everybody in every segment, and everybody would get mad about it. And that's the thing that I think is so funny. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that so and so has been out of action for such a long, on top for such a long time." Austin was on top for like 7 years. And nobody complained. But now, somebody gets a 6-month title reign and everybody's like, next? I don't understand it. And Samurai Productions, man, wherever you are, man, I hope you stay safe. It is. It's a sad state of affairs where I got into arguments with wrestling fans over them not wanting to wear masks. I don't understand it. The WWE is finding people for not wearing masks when they come to the Performance Center. People say that infringes upon their freedoms. Companies can do whatever they want. That's the freedom of their company. If you don't like it, you don't have to show up. And they have every right to fire you for it. I don't understand that. Samurai Productions, I completely agree. I hope the same. And AJ, yeah, there's the whole idea with some that the best wrestler is the one who's the greatest in-ring technician. And look, I love in-ring style. I love in-ring stuff. I love Brett. I love Shawn. Actually, I don't know why I put Shawn in that category. I'm not a hater like Dave is, but I don't think he's, when we're talking about the best workers ever, but I love Brett. I love Mr. Perfect. I love Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. And I know that some of the guys that I just named have great personalities, but some of them don't. And, Ryan Armstrong, if they are, then they're wrong. I don't understand it, but that's just their prerogative. But my thing is that in-ring technicians are excellent. Look, Finn Balor is my favorite wrestler on the planet right now. I think that Finn is an excellent performer, but I also think that since Finn's return to NXT, he's picked up on the mic. Samurai Productions, Daniel Bryan belongs in that category too. But yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted by reading your comments. I think that Balor's personality has been better now than it's been in years. I think that, they tried to push the whole demon thing on Raw. I think it was a good idea to make it, a special occasion deal, and he only does it when he really needs it. And I like that. I really do. By that same point, I think that Finn's promo work now in NXT is unbelievable. And I love that he's got a tagline now, you better not miss. I love it, man. I love that Finn is going back and he's doing the Bullet Club gesture again. And he's back to being, this, badass that we all knew he could be. But for a while, I would say that Finn Balor is the best, wrestler in the WWE. And this was before Bryan returned, because Bryan's probably up there too. But he's one of the best workers in WWE. But damn, his promos need work. But now his promos are better. And, there's a groundswell online, and I don't know where this came from, that Ricochet is being buried and he should be a world champion. Man, if you guys are complaining that Roman Reigns has bad mic skills and he should stay away from the main event of WWE, you can't say that Ricochet belongs there either. And I don't care if he's better in the ring than Roman Reigns. If your excuse is that Roman can't talk, he shouldn't be a main eventer, well, Ricochet can't talk, he shouldn't be a main eventer. I don't care if he can do a 630. And AJ, I get it. I like Ricochet. As a matter of fact, it's so funny, AJ. I did my Facebook live stream and I actually mentioned you. And I said, there are a lot of points where I do live streams, with Dave, and there's a guy in there named AJ Envoy, and him and I agree on almost everything. But there are points where we do disagree because we're humans and we have difference of opinions. Even though the majority of times we may agree, there are things we disagree on. And yes, I think that Ricochet could be a main eventer. I think he could be a world champion. I think Ricochet's cool. I think he digs into a demographic that WWE doesn't know how to get into right now. I think that, he has the ability that if he can get his promo work right to do all these cool flips and stuff like that, but make people interested in him as a character enough. And if he can get his character work better, I think he could be a main eventer because there's a lot of people that see him there. I think he has the chops to do it. Yeah, and that's the thing, Samurai Productions. He does have this weird charisma. And as Prince Puma, he was under a mask. And I don't think that it's better or worse, but I think that he needs to talk a little bit better and things will get better. Katie Martin, I don't know what they're doing in the Bullet Club right now. And I don't think that the Bullet Club knows what they're doing with the Bullet Club right now. I feel like that, it's being very oversaturated. And, I like that, the firing squad kind of took everything over, at a point, but I don't know who's in or out of the Bullet Club anymore at all. And that's an issue for me. And I don't mind him having a manager. If he does have a manager, cool. If that helps him, great. I don't watch WWE. What is Ricochet's gimmick? He had like this superhero gimmick thing going on, but right now he's just a guy. He's Cedric Alexander and Apollo Crews' friend. Like, that's his gimmick right now. And that's why I don't think he's successful, because I don't think he's found that next level to break out to appeal to the mass audience. I think his in-ring work does, but I don't think he's found the character to get himself to the next level. Ricochet's mic skills make AJ's look like Randy Savage's. Yeah, I mean, look, and that's the case. And I don't think Ricochet's horrible. I just don't think he's great. And if he's not as good as other people, you can't put him on the marquee as the main event guy. You know, a lot of people didn't like Seth Rollins on the mic, but I think Seth Rollins, was passable. And a lot of people don't like Roman, but I think that recently they've found what they needed with Roman. They don't need to feed him lines. Let him go out and be Roman Reigns. Walk out, be cocky, tell everybody that you're the best, and that's it. And that sounds like something that a heel should do, but he works as a babyface for Roman. Because all he's got to do is walk out and just say, I'm next to Goldberg, and he gets a world title shot because he demands it, because he's Roman Reigns. AJ, I think that if the second that, because remember, Chris Jericho said that the only person for WWE he wants on the roster is Roman Reigns. I think that if Roman went to AEW, he'd be the most over guy in that company. Like that. And they can book him as a babyface the entire time, and I think he would still be over. Right. Degenerate. Samurai Productions. Exactly. Let Roman just be a badass. That's all he needs. And yes, Seth is so much better as a heel, especially on the mic. And in ring, too. I like him as a smarmy heel. Degenerate. The Bullet Club is not the Bullet Club of old. It's falling apart. I think that when the Elite left, it really took a big toll on the Bullet Club. I think Firing Squad is doing a decent job, but I think they need more. And I also think that not having fans kind of killed it too. I think that once they're back, in full force, then it'll be a lot better. Roman and Rollins is meh to me on the mic. Sure, I mean, that's fine. That's your and look, Degenerate, you're allowed your opinion. I'm totally okay with that. If that's the way you feel, that's fine. I don't agree. I think that Roman is good on the mic. I think that Rollins is better than Roman. I don't think by any means both of those guys are great, but I think they're good. To be honest, the WWE doesn't have the guy that can talk you into the building right now. Who's the best mic worker in WWE? Everybody that's in the stream right now. There are 10 of you guys here. Tell me who you think the best mic worker is in WWE right now. Now, remember, John Cena doesn't count. John Cena is not there full time. So who's talking people into a building? Because personally, I don't even know anymore. I don't think anybody's talking people into the building anymore. I think the best mic work as of right now, that lately, has been Randy Orton. And Randy Orton is not known for strong promo work. We all know that. So, who is it? Daniel Bryan's there. Edge, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. Okay. Look at who we're talking about, though. Bray's not featured on the show every week. Maybe he can talk people into the building. But Bray, I don't know if he's the best talker. Ooh. Inigo Montoya. That is interesting. Ryan Armstrong. I don't think AJ Styles is really that good on the mic. But that's just, again, my opinion. Inigo Montoya. R-Truth might be up there. R-Truth actually might be up there. That's actually scary. But really, no, there's no one else that talks people into a building. I think actually in the entire landscape of WWE, it's probably Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, and Bray Wyatt. And Katie, if that's your opinion about Kenny Omega, that's fine. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think Kenny is good. I don't think he's the best, but that's just my opinion. If you had to put like a gun to my head and say who's the best in the ring right now, it's probably between Styles and Daniel Bryan for me. Finn Balor as a very close number 3. WWE needs to let the guys and girls freestyle again. The organic feel is missing. I don't know. They've loosened up the reins. A lot of people have been saying that they've loosened up the reins a lot. That they're giving scripts, but they're saying that people don't have to stick to them as close as they used to. So we'll see. And Degenerate, R-Truth might be the best character overall. Who's the best female talker? Since Becky isn't there, I would say she was the best. Bayley's heel work is doing it for me. I think she's annoying as all hell. Everybody's like, my God, Bayley's the worst. She can't be a heel. She's so annoying. No, that's good. The Iconics are good heels because they're annoying. That's good. Sasha's good on the mic. Sasha's always been good on the mic. I think Sasha cuts a great promo. She might be the best female talker. Charlotte, Charlotte's hit or miss, but Charlotte cuts a good promo. Yeah, it's probably Sasha. I'm sorry, there was something else I wanted to get to. But yeah, R-Truth is a national treasure, guys. R-Truth's the man. I love Truth. But this, I can never figure out Kenny Omega thing. He seems fun. Look, I think Kenny Omega has a certain style that I don't enjoy. He tells a story, but you want to talk about a guy who tells the same story all the time? It's Kenny Omega. It's chain wrestling in the beginning, a big spot in the middle, finisher fest at the end. That's been Kenny Omega's MO. I'm not a big, I don't like people kicking out of people's finishers. That should be reserved for WrestleMania or not even just a big show, a big match. It could be Backlash. It absolutely could be. It could be No Mercy. It could be Saturday night's main event for all I care. But if the match and the stakes are there, then I understand. But how many, one-winged angels and, short clotheslines, did Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada kick out on? A lot. And that's the thing. Like, false finishes are cool, but 100 false finishes in a match aren't cool. Did you see R-Truth's birthday video to Tyson Kidd? It was the best promo of the year. I did not, but I will, because I love both of those guys. And Degenerate, if you disagree on Sasha, that's cool. I'd love to know who you think of the best female talker is. We need to bring back the importance of signature moves when people can get up. Yes! I like that AJ Styles. I don't think AJ Styles has done the spiral tap more than 2 times in WWE. If he's done it more than once, or even if he's done it once, I don't even remember. But I like that. Right. I hated that. And what I also hated was that as much as I liked the AJ Styles versus John Cena match at SummerSlam, I hate that Styles kicked out of an Avalanche AA. If Cena can't pin you with an AA in the middle of the ring, and then he goes up to the top rope and hits you with that Avalanche AA, that has to finish you. And conversely, and it's the same thing I said last night. I loved Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic from NXT TakeOver Portland. But when you kick out of a Spanish, an Avalanche Spanish fly, an Avalanche spinning Samoan drop, and I believe there was another Avalanche move that they kicked out of, but then the Big Bang Catastrophe puts you away, it makes me not believe. Those spots are just being thrown in for them to do spots. I'm okay with the big dives. I'm okay with the move exchanges. I love seeing a guy like Keith Lee hit a Rana. Man, is that cool. But make those moves make sense. Those moves don't have to be in every match. And they shouldn't be in every match. There should be one big spot that they kick out. Oh, boy, Harry, I knew that was coming. Looking back at his later United States title runs, all that great, Albert, in the chat. The Degenerate, I'm not sure what... I'm not sure what we were trying to get at there. The AA, the Styles Clash, the Tombstone should always finish a match the first time. Look, every finishing move, if it's a finisher, it should finish the match. And, NXT has actually been halfway decent in protecting people's finishers. I don't know if anybody's kicked out of the last shot. You know what I mean? But Keith Lee, in my opinion, is a wrestler I cannot see WWE ruining. I don't think so either. I think Keith Lee is in Velveteen Dream. Were the 2 guys that I picked of being the future, but yeah, my bad. I'm saying, is John Cena's later United States title reign all that great as people say this? Yes, I think so. I think that he had great matches with mid-card guys over and over and over again, and I think he put them over and made them better than they were. And Dave is going to disagree with me on that because he doesn't think that, having a good match all the time with somebody does anything better. And yes, it's follow-up booking, but Cesaro and Zack Ryder and, Stardust, and all those guys that Cena faced in that U.S. Open Challenge felt more important in those matches and afterwards. And the WWE just did a bad job of following up on their booking with them. I can always be wrong, but I just can't see it. Yeah, I mean, look, we can all be wrong. I mean, there are a lot of there are some guys in NXT I feel that are can't miss. Adam Cole is also one of them as well, if he's booked the right way. But Adam Cole is small, and that does bother me, But if Adam Cole is main eventing pay-per-views against guys like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and even a guy like Bray Wyatt, because he's shorter, okay. But to see Adam Cole be taken seriously against the guy like Braun Strowman or even Drew McIntyre is troubling for me. It's hard for me to believe. John Cena put Sami Zayn over in the U.S. Open Challenge. John Cena put everybody over in the U.S. Open Challenge. In losses, he had everybody kicking out of finishers over and over again. Like he had mid-card guys, giving him the run for their money. Cena gets this, this thing where, get the shovel out. Cena buries everybody. And like I said, he buried the Nexus. Sure. Outside of that, there aren't many people that Cena is actually buried. And I hate that narrative. Cena buried this guy. No, Cena went out and did what he was supposed to do. He changed the finish of the match with the Nexus. He buried the Nexus. Sure. Outside of that, Cena isn't guilty of that. Triple H, too. Triple H buried everybody in that reign of terror. There was nobody there that was good enough to beat Triple H. Outside of Booker T and the fact that they put the title on, they put the title on Goldberg at the time. Outside of that, there was nobody else on Raw that I thought that was good enough to take that belt over Triple H. And like I said, the only other person I thought that that made sense during that whole reign of terror was when Triple H should have lost to Booker T at WrestleMania. Outside of that, I didn't believe anybody. It was WWE at a bad point where they didn't have enough stars. And then look what they did. Triple H's reign of terror ended because they built two brand new stars in Batista and John Cena. RVD couldn't beat Triple H. RVD is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. At that point, RVD I don't think was over enough to be to take that belt over Triple H. I think RVD winning when he did was at his maximum. It was at his maximum. What's it called? Height of popularity. They brought back ECW. That brought in older people who were ECW fans. The WWE Universe had never wavered on being fans of Rob Van Dam, but he was never more over than that time period when he took that belt off of Cena. Was he over in that, at that time against Triple H? Yes. Was he ready to be the face of a company? I don't think so. And I know Dave and I will argue about this a lot, and a lot of people say this. I don't believe Rob Van Dam on the mic. I love Rob, and I think Rob cut good promos in ECW, but Rob's promos in ECW were more just, hey, dude, I'm the best wrestler in the world. Who's going to beat me? I'm Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out. I'm going to do what I do every time, and I'm going to steal the effing show. Why? Because I'm the whole effing show. That's the reason why everybody is talking, it's talking about me, right, Fonzie? Right? Yeah, no, you're going to call it right down the middle, and the only thing that's going to happen is at the end of the night, one thing is going to happen, and that's that RVD is going to win, keep his television title because I'm Rob Van Dam. And that was his promo. Think about this. Remember his promo against Triple H when he went up against Triple H for the world title? Man, I can tell you're the game, and you're really cool, but you know what you're really good at? Spitting water. Man, you're so good at spitting water, dude. Look at this. Look, you do this, and that was his legit promo when he faced Triple H. And man, I love Rob Van Dam. He's like top 5, or if not top 5, definitely in my top 10 of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But my God, how are you going to say that he was a good enough guy to put the world title on when he couldn't cut a promo? And look, let's face it, I wasn't already completely sold on that whole, I am the game, and I will come out there and beat all of you guys and put everybody in the pedigree because I'm the game. Triple H style of promo. I didn't like that either. But it was way better than what Rob Van Dam was doing back at that point. So RVD is proto Matt Riddle. Yes, 100%. And yeah, Samurai Productions, he was so cool, man. The coolest. I didn't know what 420 meant, but I rocked my RVD 420 shirt all the time. That was way before I knew what marijuana even was. But yeah, I mean, what about CM Punk was WWE champion? Punk was champion 400 plus days and lost the title to a WrestleMania rematch objective. Look, I don't like the way Punk goes about a lot of the way goes about a lot of the things the way he does it. But Punk got screwed. There was no reason why that match couldn't have just been a triple threat match. And I get, they needed an opponent for The Undertaker. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with that build at all. I love the Undertaker build. I love the Paul Bearer, the Earn thing. I love that CM Punk Undertaker feud. It's one of my favorite feuds. And I was at WrestleMania 29. I was there live. I saw that match live. It was the best match. It stole the show. But CM Punk deserved to be in the main event that year. There was no doubt in my mind he deserved to be in the main event that year. He had a world title match the previous year at WrestleMania. It wasn't the main event. He deserved to be in the main event. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think he kind of got a little bit shafted. And should they have put him in the main event the year after? Maybe they should have. Maybe they shouldn't have went the way that they were going to go. Maybe, things could have been different. But I just don't like the way Punk's handled himself since. So it's, but yeah, he got shafted. And Degenerate wasn't that good of a segment. It was okay. And again, I love Rob. And I think that Rob later on showed much better personality and got better in his promo game. I like that, Rob went back to being the cool, laid-back dude when he won the world title. I like that, when, Heyman was like, oh, what are we going to do with this? Oh, I'm going to keep this title. Look how cool it is. It spins. Like, I love that. That was cool, RVD. And there's a way for him to be that guy, like Matt Riddle's doing right now in WWE. He's doing a great job at just being the cool, laid-back bro. And Rob, they took that away from Rob in WWE. And I hated that Triple H promo, man. I absolutely hated that that promo with him and Triple H. I hated it. And that made me, because it made me, tell everybody, this is the best guy. Watch it. Rob Van Dam's the best wrestler. And everybody's like, this guy's the guy you like? And I'm like, damn, man. Oh, yeah. And Rob's style is just the most innovative of the style that we see now. His matches in Jerry Lynn were proto, what we see right now. And yeah, Inigo Montoya, I agree. That year that Roman and Undertaker main evented, I was completely against that. And look, a lot of people say that Rock and Hogan should have main evented that WrestleMania. I'm glad that Triple H and Jericho went on last. The world title should main event WrestleMania. I would rather have the triple threat match. It made sense from storyline perspective. I agree. It did. But I wouldn't take that build for Undertaker and Punk away for anything. Even Punk main eventing that WrestleMania. He could have main evented the WrestleMania the year after. He could have been in the main event of that WrestleMania, and I would have been fine. He was supposed to face Kane. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to have to go in a little bit because I am exhausted. I woke up very early this morning and had a very long day at work and live streamed before this for 40 minutes. So my voice is starting to get tired too. It's hard when Dave's not here. Don't tell him I said that. Did Punk ever get a rematch against The Rock? No. No, he did not. Oh, no, he did. He did. He lost at Rumble, and then he got the rematch at the next pay-per-view. I don't know. I didn't like that whole thing. The year-long build for Rock and Cena made sense, but you could have just slid Punk in there because they build Rock versus Cena in their first match as once in a lifetime. So then it was like once in a lifetime again. Like, just you should have left it at once in a lifetime and slid Punk in there or somebody else. I didn't care. I wouldn't care who it was, but you could have put Punk in there the year after too. He could have been in that main event spot the year after. There's no reason why he couldn't have been in that world title match. All right, I'm gonna do like 2 more minutes and then I'm gonna get going, guys. My girlfriend's called me and she's probably wondering why I'm not answering, even though she can probably see that I'm live. I don't know. Oh, and I have mail too. I wonder what that means. I wonder what I got. I wonder if I got anything good. And yeah, AJ, I completely because Punk technically did put himself into The Rock and seen a few of his pipe bomb promo. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did, but that was way before that. That was when that started the 400 day title reign. The only reason Rock got the title was because he was guaranteed in his contract. I don't know if it was that it was guaranteed in his contract. I think that was just always the storyline. I think it was always the story. It was going to be for the world title, and Rock was going to pass the torch to Cena, and Cena was going to win the title. Look, hey, AJ Envoy, I figured out how to do this. There's a way to do it from my webcam that I don't have to, download any other software, and it makes it so much easier to do it. So I'm super ecstatic that I get to come on here, guys, and get to hang out with you guys. It's been awesome. It's been so much fun, and I can't wait to do this again. I'm going to do this more often. Look, 11 of you guys were here to watch this. I think the high number was 12, and that's what we usually level out at on Dave streams. So that means that you guys are coming here for this content. You guys are here for it. 8 thumbs up is amazing. Thank you for the likes. All this stuff means so much. I really do want to get this channel back to where it was and then beyond. So this is a great start. Hopefully now that I'm doing more live streams, we can get more people on here and it'll be a lot more fun. So if you guys have friends, that are wrestling fans, point them in this channel. Yes, 11 more loyal members. I really appreciate every single one of you, each and every one of you. You guys have been so amazing and fantastic to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. You're the reason why I will continue to do these things. So let's do more of this. Harry, if you're still here, your video will be up this week. I promise you that. I'm going to work on editing a little bit of it tonight. And for everybody else, Ryan, Katie, Samurai Productions, Inigo, AJ Envoy. I know I'm missing people. Degenerate. Who am I missing? I said Harry, IR Monkey. All of you guys. If I missed any of you guys, AJ Envoy, of course. I don't know if I said you. I don't know why I would leave you out. All of you guys, thank you guys so. Base Up is here just as I'm leaving. But thank you guys so very much for joining me. Base Up. Next time I am on, hopefully you get the notification, and we got a Big Blue Attack. Yes, I'm so sorry for forgetting you. But all of you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining. Next time, I look, hey, Base Up, if you get off of work at this time, I'll try to go on a little bit later. I'll try to start the streams at like 9 o'clock. This way I'm done by around 10, and you have like as much time as you possibly can to come on and have a discussion with all of us. But thank you guys again so much. 9 thumbs up, guys. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for this. This has been so much fun for me returning here to be able to do this, to be able to have this with you guys has been an absolute honor and a privilege. Now 10. Thank you guys more than anything. I love each and every one of you. This wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for you. Thank you guys again. And I'll see you next time. And as always, Albert knows more than Dave.